Another black thug thinking he can walk into my station. Officer Craig Mitchell grabs the black man by the throat and slams him against the wall. The plaster cracks. The man's head snaps back. His eyes water, but he doesn't cry out. Mitchell rips the visitor badge from his jacket and throws it down. Then he spits near the man's feet. Your kind doesn't belong in this building. It's 5:30 Tuesday afternoon, shift change. The lobby is packed with officers clocking out. Conversations echo off tile floors, radios crackle with traffic reports. Someone laughs near the coffee machine. A sergeant walks past carrying coffee. She sees everything, keeps walking. The black man's voice stays steady despite the hand crushing his throat. I'm here for tomorrow's ceremony, 8 a.m. Mitchell tightens his grip. What he doesn't know, in less than 2 hours, 4 words from this man will drain all color from his face and destroy his career instantly. Mitchell demands identification. The black man reaches slowly into his jacket pocket and pulls out a driver's license. His movements are deliberate, non-threatening, the kind of movements that come from years of practice. Mitchell snatches the license and reads it under the harsh lobby lights. His eyes scan the name, Andrew Harris, age 42, address on the east side. Something flickers across Mitchell's face. Recognition? Fear? It's gone before anyone can read it. Sergeant Linda Wilson emerges from the back office carrying a stack of transfer files. She's been with the department for 18 years. She knows how things work. She sees Mitchell with his hand still on the black man's throat, and she doesn't miss a beat. This the appointment? She asks Mitchell. No appointment list shows any Harris, Mitchell says without looking away from Andrew. Andrew's voice comes out calm despite the pressure on his windpipe. I need to speak with your watch commander. This was arranged through the mayor's office. Mitchell laughs. It's a cold sound that bounces off the tile and glass. The mayor's office? You're telling me the mayor sent you here? I'm telling you I have a right to make a formal request. Wilson moves closer now. She positions herself between Andrew and the front desk. Her body language is clear. She's blocking his exit. This isn't her first time doing this. The choreography is practiced, smooth. You need to come with us, Wilson says. We need to verify your story. Andrew doesn't resist when Mitchell pulls him away from the wall. His hands stay visible. His movements stay slow, but anyone watching closely would see something in his eyes. Not fear, not anger, something else. Sadness, maybe. Like he's seen this exact scenario before. Just like my brother, Andrew says quietly. Mitchell's grip on his arm tightens. For half a second, his face goes rigid. Then he recovers. What did you say? Nothing. I'll come with you. Across the lobby, a young officer named Tyler Brooks sits at the dispatch desk. He's been on the force for 6 months, still in his probation period, still learning how things work around here. He watches Mitchell and Wilson lead the black man toward the back hallway. Something about the scene makes his stomach turn. His hand moves toward his phone in his pocket. The recording app is already open. Mitchell and Wilson take Andrew down a hallway that smells like old coffee and industrial cleaner. The afternoon sun slants through narrow windows, creating harsh shadows on the concrete floor. Their footsteps echo. Radio chatter from dispatch fades behind them. They stop at a door marked IR3, Interrogation Room 3. Mitchell opens it and shoves Andrew inside. The room is small, 8 feet by 10 feet. A metal table, 3 chairs, a camera mounted in the corner. The red recording light is off. Sit, Mitchell commands. Andrew sits. He folds his hands on the table. His breathing stays even. Wilson enters behind them and closes the door. She doesn't lock it yet, not yet. That comes later. First, they need to establish the story, create the narrative. Mitchell stays standing. He positions himself behind Andrew. It's an intimidation tactic. Standard procedure for making someone feel small, vulnerable, surrounded. Let's start with why you're really here, Mitchell says. His voice is different now, harder. No one else is watching. You said something about tomorrow morning. What's ceremony? That's between me and your captain. Wrong answer. Mitchell slams his hands on the table. The sound cracks through the small space like a gunshot. Andrew doesn't flinch. You're in my house now. You answer my questions. You don't get to make demands. I'm not making demands. I'm exercising my rights. Wilson laughs from her position by the door. Your rights? You walked into a police station during shift change. You refused to state your business. You became aggressive when Officer Mitchell attempted to verify your identity. That's not what happened. That's exactly what happened, Mitchell says. He walks around the table now, gets in Andrew's face. And that's what's going in the report, unless you want to tell us the real reason you're here. Andrew looks at him directly, eye to eye. No fear, no submission, just a steady, measured gaze that seems to see right through Mitchell. I'm here because I was invited, by people who outrank you. Mitchell's jaw clenches. Something about the way this man speaks, the confidence, the complete lack of fear. It's wrong. It doesn't fit the script. Community liaison, right? Mitchell sneers. That's what they call troublemakers now. People who file complaints. People who think they can change how we do our jobs. I didn't say I was a liaison. Then what are you? Someone who knows exactly what you're doing right now. The words hang in the air. Mitchell feels something shift. This isn't going the way it usually goes. Most people break by now. Most people get scared, start explaining, start apologizing. This man just sits there with his hands folded, calm, like he's been through this before. Check his pockets, Mitchell tells Wilson. You need a warrant for that, Andrew says. No, I don't. Not if I suspect you're armed. Not if I believe you're a threat. Wilson moves forward. She pulls Andrew's phone from his jacket pocket. It's a newer model. Password protected. Unlock it, Mitchell demands. No, that's not a request. And I'm not giving you my passcode. That's a violation of my Fourth Amendment rights. Mitchell grabs Andrew's collar again, jerks him halfway out of the chair. You want to talk about rights? How about my right to keep this station safe? How about my right to investigate suspicious individuals? I'm not suspicious. I told you why I'm here. You told me nothing. Mitchell slams Andrew back into the chair. Then he moves behind him again. This time his hands go to Andrew's shoulders, fingers digging in, pressure points, not enough to leave obvious marks, just enough to hurt. Last chance. What ceremony are you talking about? Andrew's voice stays level despite the pain. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., the mayor will be there, the city council, your entire command staff. Mitchell's hands freeze just for a second. Then he recovers. You're lying. I'm not. There's no ceremony tomorrow. Yes, there is. And I'm supposed to meet your captain tonight to discuss the final arrangements. Wilson exchanges a look with Mitchell. Something passes between them. A silent conversation that happens in the space of a heartbeat. He's lying, Wilson says. There's nothing on the schedule. But Mitchell isn't so sure anymore. The way this man speaks, the specific details, the mention of the mayor and city council, that's not something a random troublemaker would know. Mitchell walks to that door, opens it slightly, calls down the hallway. Brooks, get in here! The young officer appears 30 seconds later. He looks nervous. His eyes flick to Andrew, then to Mitchell. Yes, sir? Check tomorrow's schedule. See if there's any ceremony listed. Anything involving the mayor. Brooks hesitates. Sir, I can check, but Deputy Chief Walsh usually handles... Just check it. Now. Brooks leaves. The door closes again. The room falls silent except for the hum of the ventilation system. Andrew sits perfectly still. His hands remain folded on the table, but if you looked closely, you'd see something in his eyes. A calculation. A countdown. Mitchell paces. 3 steps one way, 3 steps back. His boots scrape against concrete. Wilson stays by the door. Her arms are crossed. She's watching Andrew like a hawk, looking for any sign of weakness, any crack in the facade. You said something earlier, Mitchell says finally. About your brother. Andrew doesn't respond. What did you mean by that? Still nothing. Mitchell comes around the table, gets close, invading space. I asked you a question, and I chose not to answer it. Wrong choice. Mitchell grabs Andrew's collar again. This time he doesn't just jerk. He twists, pulls, lifts Andrew partially out of the chair. Andrew's hands come up instinctively. Not to fight, just to stabilize, to keep from falling. That's resisting, Wilson says from the door. She says it loud enough to be heard outside the room, loud enough to establish the story. He's resisting. Andrew isn't resisting. He's trying to breathe. Mitchell's grip is cutting off his airway. His face is turning red. His eyes are watering again. And then Mitchell does something that crosses a line. He slams Andrew's head forward, hard, fast. Andrew's forehead connects with the metal table edge. The sound is sickening, wet and sharp at the same time. Andrew slumps back in the chair. Blood runs from a cut above his eyebrow. It drips onto his collar, onto the table. Wilson doesn't move from the door. Mitchell steps back, breathing hard. His knuckles are white. His face is flushed. "You shouldn't have resisted," he says. Andrew touches his forehead. His fingers come away red. He looks at the blood for a long moment. Then he looks up at Mitchell with those same steady eyes. "This is exactly what you did 3 years ago." Mitchell freezes. "What? 3 years ago, this same room, my brother Brandon. You beat him to death right here." The color drains from Mitchell's face. The door opens. Brooks is back. He's holding a printed schedule. His eyes go wide when he sees the blood. "Sir, there is something on the schedule. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., a swearing-in ceremony for the new chief of police." The room goes silent. Mitchell stares at Brooks. Wilson's arms drop to her sides. Andrew sits with blood running down his face, watching them process the information. "That's impossible," Mitchell says. His voice sounds hollow. "Walsh would have told us." "It's on the internal calendar," Brooks says. He holds up the paper like evidence. "Mayor Anderson, City Council President, state representatives, all confirmed for 8 a.m. tomorrow." Mitchell snatches the paper from Brooks's hands. His eyes scan the text. His lips move silently as he reads. Then he crumples the paper and throws it in the corner. "Get out, Brooks." "Sir, he's bleeding. I said get out." Brooks leaves, but not before his eyes meet Andrew's for just a second. Something passes between them, an understanding. Then the door closes. Wilson locks it this time. The click echoes in the small space. "This doesn't change anything," Mitchell says. He's talking to himself as much as to Andrew. "You still trespassed. You still became aggressive. We still had to subdue you." "Is that the story you're going with?" Andrew's voice is steady despite the blood. "That's what happened." Wilson moves to her bag near the door. She pulls out a pre-printed arrest form, the kind of form that suggests this isn't her first time falsifying a report. She fills in the blanks with practiced efficiency. Andrew watches her write. "You've done this before." "Every day," Wilson says without looking up. "Part of the job." "It's not part of the job, it's a crime." Mitchell kneels down in front of Andrew, eye level. His voice drops to something almost conversational. "Let me explain how this works. You came in here making threats. You assaulted me when I tried to detain you. I had no choice but to defend myself. Sergeant Wilson witnessed everything. Officer Brooks will confirm the timeline. That's 3 sworn officers against 1 troublemaker with a history. I don't have a history. You do now." Mitchell stands. "Wilson, book him. Assault on an officer. Resisting arrest. Trespassing. You can't do this." "I just did." Mitchell moves to the door. His hand is on the knob when Andrew speaks again. "Your career ends tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., when I walk into that ceremony and take my oath." Mitchell turns back. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that you just assaulted your new commanding officer, in front of witnesses, with cameras in the hallway, during shift change when half the department can verify I entered this building peacefully." Wilson stops writing. He's bluffing. But Mitchell isn't sure anymore. The ceremony is real. Brooks confirmed it. And this man speaks with too much certainty, too much specific knowledge. "Who are you?" Mitchell asks. "My name is Andrew Harris. Tomorrow morning I become chief of police. And the first thing I'm going to do is open an investigation into what happened to my brother Brandon Harris 3 years ago in this exact room." Mitchell's face goes from red to white. All the blood drains out like someone opened a valve. "Brandon Harris," he whispers. "That was your brother?" "He called 911 because he was having a mental health crisis. He needed help. You beat him to death instead. Then you wrote it up as a medical emergency. Then you had Sergeant Wilson alter the evidence logs." Wilson's pen stops moving. "Then you had Deputy Chief Walsh sign off on a falsified autopsy report." Andrew continues. His voice never rises, never breaks, just states facts like he's reading from a case file. 43 violations of department protocol, 18 civil rights violations, 3 felonies, all covered up by this station. Mitchell backs against the wall. His breathing is shallow, fast. "You came here on purpose," he says. "You wanted this to happen. I came here for a meeting. You chose to assault me. That's on you." "This is a setup. You're wearing a wire." "I'm not wearing anything. I didn't need to." "Your own officer is documenting everything." Mitchell's eyes go to the door. "Brooks?" He's a Marine like me. We recognize each other. We recognize when orders violate the oath we took. Wilson moves toward the door. We need to call Walsh, now. Walsh can't help you, Andrew says. He's part of this. He's been taking money from Vincent Taylor for 3 years, $340,000 in payments, all traced, all documented, all waiting for tomorrow morning. Mitchell slides down the wall, sits on the floor. His hands are shaking. My face went white, he says to no one. He said my face went white. Wilson makes the call. Her voice is urgent but controlled as she speaks into her radio. Deputy Chief Walsh to IR3. Immediate. Andrew sits at the table with blood drying on his face. He doesn't ask for medical attention, doesn't demand a lawyer, just sits there with his hands folded like he's waiting for a bus. Mitchell paces the small room. 3 steps, turn. 3 steps, turn. His mind is racing through scenarios, timelines, evidence, every conversation he's had over the past 3 years. You can't prove any of that, Mitchell says finally. I don't have to prove it. Federal investigators already did. Federal? FBI, DOJ, Inspector General's office. They've been building a case for 18 months. Tonight was the final test. Wilson's radio crackles. Walsh's voice comes through. On my way. The door opens 2 minutes later. Deputy Chief Raymond Walsh fills the doorway. He's 56, 6'2", 230 pounds, custom boots, expensive watch, the kind of accessories that don't match a civil servant's salary. He takes in the scene, blood on the table, Mitchell against the wall, Wilson by the door, and Andrew Harris sitting calmly in the middle of it all. Someone want to tell me what's happening here? He's claiming to be the new chief, Mitchell says. His voice is shaking. Claims there's a ceremony tomorrow. Walsh's face doesn't change. Is there? Brooks confirmed it. 8 a.m. Mayor's office sent out the notice. Walsh walks slowly into the room. He studies Andrew like he's looking at a puzzle, trying to figure out which piece doesn't fit. Mr. Harris, Walsh says. His tone is measured, careful. You're bleeding. Would you like medical attention? After I speak with my lawyer. Of course. But first, help me understand what happened here. Officer Mitchell says you became aggressive during a routine ID check. Officer Mitchell is lying. That's a serious accusation. It's the truth. He assaulted me the moment I entered this building, called me a black thug, slammed me against the wall hard enough to crack plaster, then brought me here and beat me with Sergeant Wilson as a witness. Walsh looks at Wilson. She meets his gaze without blinking. Years of practice. Sergeant Wilson, is that accurate? No, sir. Subject became combative when Officer Mitchell requested identification. I see. Walsh turns back to Andrew. It's your word against 2 sworn officers. Is it? Andrew asks. Because Officer Brooks was in the lobby during the initial encounter. He saw everything, and I suspect he documented it. Walsh's jaw tightens. Just barely. Just enough to notice if you're watching closely. Brooks is a probationary officer. His testimony would need corroboration. It has corroboration. The lobby cameras, the hallway cameras, the dispatch logs that Clara Williams keeps. All of it shows me entering peacefully and being immediately assaulted. Walsh pulls up a chair, sits down across from Andrew. When he speaks again, his voice has changed, softer, almost friendly. Mr. Harris, let's be realistic. You're in a difficult position. You have injuries, you're claiming assault, but you're also claiming to be someone you're probably not. Someone told you about tomorrow's ceremony and you thought you could use that information to your advantage. I am the new chief, appointed by Mayor Anderson 6 weeks ago, confirmed by City Council 2 weeks ago. My background was FBI crisis negotiation. Before that, Marine Corps, Medal of Honor recipient for actions in Kandahar province. The specificity makes Walsh hesitate. These aren't vague claims, these are checkable facts. If that's true, why didn't anyone inform the department? Because the mayor wanted to see how the department would handle an unknown black man walking in during shift change. He wanted to see if the complaints we've been receiving for 3 years were accurate. He wanted to test the culture. And you agreed to this test? I insisted on it, because my brother died in this room 3 years ago, because Brandon Harris was beaten to death by Officer Mitchell and Sergeant Wilson while Deputy Chief Walsh covered it up, because 43 families have filed similar complaints that were all buried, because the federal government has been investigating this station since last January, and because I wanted to see for myself if anything had changed. The room goes completely silent. Walsh stands slowly. His face is unreadable. Those are extremely serious allegations. Do you have any proof? All of it. Financial records showing your payments from Vincent Taylor, evidence room logs showing Sergeant Wilson's falsifications, radio transcripts from the night my brother died, medical examiner's reports that don't match the official story, witness statements from 43 families, bank transfers, text messages, emails, every single piece of evidence that will be presented tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when the federal grand jury hands down indictments. Walsh's expensive watch catches the light as his hand moves to his pocket. He pulls out his phone, stares at it for a long moment. Then he looks at Mitchell and Wilson. How bad is it? Mitchell doesn't answer. Wilson looks at the floor. Sir, Mitchell says finally, if he's telling the truth, he's not. But if he is, then we have a problem. Walsh puts his phone away. But we still have time to manage it. The ceremony isn't until tomorrow morning. We have all night to control the narrative. Andrew's voice cuts through. You're planning to disappear me. I'm planning to follow proper procedure. Transfer you to county lockup for processing. Standard protocol for arrests after business hours. Except you'll lose the paperwork. Hold me for 48 hours without arraignment. Long enough for the ceremony to happen without me. Long enough to create doubt about my identity. Walsh almost smiles. You're very perceptive, Mr. Harris, if that's your real name. It's exactly what you did to Brandon. Held him overnight. By morning, he was dead. Medical emergency, the report said. Except the autopsy showed blunt force trauma to 17 different locations on his body. Walsh moves toward the door. Mitchell, Wilson, process him. Transfer to county by 2200 hours. I'll handle the mayor's office. You can't, I can. I'm deputy chief. This is my station. And until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., you're just another suspect in custody. Walsh opens the door, stops, turns back. One more thing, Mr. Harris. Your brother's case was tragic, but it was also closed. The medical examiner ruled natural causes complicated by pre-existing conditions. There was no evidence of assault, no signs of struggle, just a sad situation where someone having a mental health episode experienced cardiac arrest in custody. That's a lie. That's the official record, signed by the chief medical examiner, reviewed by Internal Affairs, approved by the district attorney's office. Good luck proving otherwise. Walsh leaves. The door closes behind him. Mitchell and Wilson look at each other, then at Andrew. We need to move him before night shift arrives, Wilson says. But Mitchell is staring at Andrew with something new in his eyes. Not anger anymore, fear. What? Wilson asks. He knew, Mitchell says quietly. He knew exactly what Walsh would say. He knew about the transfer plan. He knew everything. So what? So that means someone told him, someone inside, someone who knows how we operate. Andrew smiles. It's not a friendly expression. You're right, Officer Mitchell. Someone did tell me. Several someones, actually. People who've been watching you for 18 months. People who are very close. Closer than you think. Wilson's radio crackles. A voice cuts through. Dispatch to all units. Fire alarm activated. Southeast wing, all personnel respond. Mitchell's eyes narrow. That's across the building. That's a distraction, Andrew finishes. You have about 15 minutes before everything changes. The fire alarm screams through the building. Mitchell and Wilson exchange glances. Protocol says they have to respond. Protocol says they can't leave a detainee unattended. Wilson, stay with him, Mitchell orders. I'll check the alarm. Wait, Wilson says, but Mitchell is already gone. The door closes. Wilson and Andrew are alone. Wilson's hand goes to her radio. She's about to call for backup when Andrew speaks. Clara Williams is in dispatch right now, pulling every radio log from the past 3 years. Tyler Brooks has 17 minutes of video uploaded to 3 different cloud servers. FBI agent Rachel Turner is in the parking lot with DOJ attorney Richard Bennett and Mayor Anderson. They're waiting for my signal. Wilson's hand freezes. You're lying. Am I? Check your phone. Look at the parking lot camera feed. Wilson pulls out her phone with shaking hands, opens the security app, switches to exterior cameras. Her face goes pale. 3 black SUVs, federal plates. People in FBI windbreakers standing near the entrance. No, 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 no. Deputy Chief Walsh is on the phone right now with the mayor's office. He's about to find out that the mayor isn't answering, because the mayor is here, in the building, coming to get me. Wilson backs against the door. This isn't possible. We've been careful. We've been sloppy. Andrew says. "You've been sloppy. Evidence room logs with your signature on every altered entry. Radio transcripts that don't match official reports. Financial records showing cash deposits to your personal account on the same days evidence went missing. You left a trail, Sergeant Wilson, and federal investigators followed it." The fire alarm cuts off. The sudden silence is worse than the noise. Wilson's radio crackles again. "False alarm! All units return to stations!" "That was Brooks," Andrew says. "He pulled that alarm to create chaos, to give Clara time to copy the files, to give the FBI time to get into position. You have maybe 5 minutes before they come through that door." "What do you want?" Wilson's voice cracks. "What do I have to do?" "Nothing. It's too late for deals. Federal charges don't have immunity agreements, not for civil rights violations, not for evidence tampering in a death case." Wilson slides down the door, sits on the floor. Her gun is still on her hip, but she doesn't reach for it. She just sits there, staring at nothing. "Brandon was scared," she says suddenly. "That night, 3 years ago. He kept saying he couldn't breathe, kept asking for help. Mitchell wouldn't stop. I told him to stop. I said we should call medical. He said we just needed 5 more minutes. He died in 7 minutes. I know. I timed it. I watched the clock on the wall and I watched your brother die and I did nothing." Andrew's voice softens, just slightly. "Why?" "Because I was scared. Because Mitchell said if I reported it, we'd both go down. Because Walsh said he'd handle it. Because I have a daughter in college and a mortgage and a pension. Because I was weak." The door opens. Tyler Brooks stands there. Behind him, 3 people in FBI jackets. "Mr. Harris," Agent Rachel Turner says, "we need to get you to medical." Andrew stands slowly. "Not yet. We finish this first." Agent Rachel Turner and DOJ attorney Richard Bennett enter the interrogation room with Mayor Thomas Anderson right behind them. The afternoon sun is fading outside, casting long shadows through the narrow windows. Mitchell returns from the false alarm. He stops in the doorway when he sees the federal agents. His face goes through several emotions in rapid sequence: confusion, recognition, horror. "What's going on?" "Officer Mitchell," Turner says. She shows her credentials. "I'm Agent Rachel Turner, FBI. This is Attorney Richard Bennett from the Department of Justice. We need you to step away from Mr. Harris immediately. He's under arrest." "No, he's not. He was never legally detained. Everything that happened here in the last 90 minutes was illegal, and we have it all documented." Bennett moves to Andrew. His voice is professional but concerned. "Mr. Harris, are you injured? Do you need medical attention?" Andrew touches the cut on his forehead. The bleeding has mostly stopped, but his face is swelling. "Concussion probably, maybe bruised ribs. Definitely illegal search. Definitely false arrest. Definitely assault under color of authority." Bennett pulls out his phone and starts photographing Andrew's injuries from multiple angles. Each photo is time-stamped, geotagged, admissible. Mayor Anderson steps forward. He's been quiet until now. When he speaks, his voice is cold. "Deputy Chief Walsh, as of this moment, you're relieved of duty pending federal investigation." Walsh appears in the doorway. He sees the crowd in the interrogation room and his expensive watch suddenly looks very heavy on his wrist. "Mayor, I can explain." "Save it for your attorney. You're going to need a very good one." Turner turns to Mitchell and Wilson. "Both of you, hands where I can see them. Don't reach for your weapons. Don't reach for your radios. Just stand still." Mitchell's face has gone completely white. All the color drained out. His lips are moving, but no sound comes out. "Agent Turner," Brooks says from the hallway, "I have the video evidence ready to review." "Bring it to conference room A," Turner says. "We're moving this entire discussion to a more appropriate venue." The group moves through the station hallways. Officers stop what they're doing to watch. Word spreads fast in a police station. Everyone knows something big is happening. They just don't know what yet. Conference room A has a long table, harsh fluorescent lights, and a screen for presentations. Brooks connects his phone to the laptop. The video loads. Andrew sits at the head of the table. Mayor Anderson sits beside him. Turner and Bennett flank the other side. Mitchell, Wilson, and Walsh are positioned at the far end, like defendants at a trial. "Before we review the evidence," Mayor Anderson says, "I want to make something clear. Mr. Andrew Harris is the duly appointed chief of police for this city. His appointment was confirmed by City Council 2 weeks ago. His background was thoroughly vetted. His swearing-in ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Mitchell makes a sound, something between a gasp and a groan. The purpose of Mr. Harris's visit today was to conduct a final site inspection and meet with the outgoing command staff. The mayor's office deliberately did not announce his identity in advance because we wanted to observe how the department would interact with an unknown black man entering the station. Walsh speaks up. His voice is weak. This was entrapment. This was a test. Anderson corrects. A test you failed spectacularly. Bennett gestures to Brooks. Officer Brooks, please play the footage from the beginning. The screen lights up. The video starts at exactly 5:30 p.m. The timestamp is clear in the corner. The lobby, officers moving around, shift change chaos. Andrew Harris walking through the front door, civilian clothes, calm demeanor, non-threatening, Mitchell seeing him, moving to intercept. The audio picks up Mitchell's first words. Another black thug thinking he can walk into my station. The grab, the slam against the wall, the crack of plaster, Andrew's head snapping back, Mitchell spit near Andrew's feet. Your kind doesn't belong in this building. Every word, every action, crystal clear, undeniable. Mitchell closes his eyes. He can't watch anymore. The video continues, badge ripped off, Andrew requesting to see the captain. Mitchell's response. The sergeant walking past without stopping, then the hallway, then IR3, then the interrogation. Mitchell slamming Andrew's head into the table edge. Blood. This is exactly what you did 3 years ago. What? 3 years ago, this same room, my brother Brandon, Mitchell's face on camera. All the blood draining, white, then gray, the revelation. Brooks pauses the video. The frozen image shows Mitchell's face in that exact moment of realization. His face went white, Turner says, the second he understood what he'd done. Turner stands at the head of the table. Let's review this systematically. We'll start with today's incident, then work backward to establish pattern and practice. Bennett opens his laptop. A spreadsheet appears on the screen. Timeline for today, May 14th. Officer Brooks, can you confirm the timestamp on your recording? 17:30 hours exactly, Brooks says. 5:30 p.m. I started recording when I saw Officer Mitchell approach Mr. Harris with unnecessary aggression. The video plays again. This time, Turner pauses it at key moments. Timestamp 17:30:12. Officer Mitchell makes initial contact. Note his language. Another black thug. This establishes racial animus from the first moment of contact. She advances the video. 17:30:31. Physical contact. Grabbing the throat. Slamming against the wall hard enough to damage property. No legal justification. Mr. Harris has made no threatening moves. Has not refused any lawful orders. Has not given any reason for physical force. Mitchell's attorney speaks up. He arrived 10 minutes ago. Expensive suit, tired eyes. My client was conducting a reasonable investigation. Your client was committing assault. Bennett interrupts. Under color of authority. Title 18 U.S. Code Section 242. Civil rights violation. Federal crime. Turner continues. 17:30:52. Sergeant Wilson arrives. She doesn't intervene, doesn't question the use of force. Instead, she positions herself to block exits. This establishes conspiracy. The video shows Wilson's practiced movements, the casual way she helps establish control, years of experience visible in every gesture. 17:39. Officer Mitchell transports Mr. Harris to IR3. Note, no Miranda warning, no booking procedure, no notification to watch commander. This is an illegal detention. The video shifts to hallway footage, different angle. Clara Williams pulled this from the security system. 17:46. Inside IR3, Officer Mitchell escalates to direct physical violence. Head slammed into table edge. Blood, visible injury, all captured on Officer Brooks's recording device, which he positioned to see through the door window. Mitchell's attorney tries again. This is being taken out of context. The context, Turner says coldly, is that your client attacked the next chief of police based purely on the color of his skin. There is no other context that matters. She advances to the moment where Andrew mentions his brother. This is exactly what you did 3 years ago. What? 3 years ago, this same room, my brother Brandon. The camera catches Mitchell's face perfectly. The moment of recognition, the realization of what he's hearing, the complete drain of color from his skin. Turner pauses the video there. Officer Mitchell clearly recognizes the name Brandon Harris. His physical reaction indicates prior knowledge of that case, which brings us to evidence layer 2. Bennett switches to a different file. Brandon Harris, age 38, African-American male, died in custody at this station 3 years ago, May 16th, almost exactly 3 years to the day. The screen shows the official report. Bennett reads key sections. Subject became combative during mental health welfare check. Officers used necessary force to restrain subject. Subject experienced medical emergency, pronounced dead at County Medical Center. That's what the official report says, Turner notes. Here's what the radio logs say. Clara Williams enters the room carrying a banker's box. She's been the dispatch supervisor for 25 years. She knows where every piece of paper is stored. Radio log from May 16th, 3 years ago, Clara says. She pulls out a file. 17:43 hours. Initial call. Brandon Harris called 911 himself. Said he was scared. Said he was having a panic attack. Asked for help. She reads from the transcript. Please send someone. I can't breathe right. I'm scared. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just need help. First responders arrived at 17:56. Clara continues. Officers Ramirez and Johnson. Their radio traffic indicates subject was cooperative, scared but not aggressive. They called for mental health services. What happened next? Turner asks. 1814. Officer Mitchell and Sergeant Wilson arrived, took over the situation, dismissed the mental health team, radio traffic stops. Why does it stop? Mitchell switched to a different channel, one that isn't recorded. But we have witness statements from officers Ramirez and Johnson. They both reported that Brandon Harris was calm when they left him with Mitchell and Wilson. Bennett brings up another document. Medical examiner's report. Let me read the relevant sections. Blunt force trauma to the head, neck, torso, and extremities. 17 distinct impact sites, broken ribs, fractured orbital bone, ruptured spleen. He looks up. The medical examiner ruled this was caused by a fall during a struggle. Does this look like a fall to you? No one answers. Compare that, Bennett says, to what happened to Andrew Harris today. Head slammed into table. Same room, same officer, same sergeant, same pattern of violence. Walsh's attorney stands. You can't prove my client had any knowledge of evidence layer 3. Turner interrupts. She nods to Bennett. A new spreadsheet appears. Financial records. Bank statements, wire transfers. Deputy Chief Raymond Walsh, annual salary $93,000, yet over the past 3 years he's deposited $340,000 into various personal accounts. The screen shows transaction after transaction, each one highlighted, each one traced. These payments came from 3 different LLC shell companies, all owned by Vincent Taylor, currently serving 15 years in federal prison for drug trafficking. Bennett clicks through the evidence. Walsh received payments twice monthly. Consistent amounts, consistent schedule. In exchange, evidence disappeared from this station's evidence room. Cases were lost. Complaints were buried. Sergeant Wilson supervised the evidence room during this time period. Her signature appears on every altered evidence log. We've identified 52 cases over 3 years where evidence was falsified, lost, or destroyed. Turner brings up another file, including the evidence from Brandon Harris's death. The original photograph showing the full extent of his injuries, gone. The responding officer's written statements, gone. The mental health evaluator's assessment, gone. What remained, Bennett says, was a sanitized file that supported the narrative of a subject who became violent and died of natural causes, signed by Deputy Chief Walsh, approved by Internal Affairs, case closed. Mitchell speaks for the first time in 20 minutes. His voice is barely a whisper. I didn't mean for him to die. His attorney grabs his arm. Don't say anything. But Mitchell isn't listening anymore. He wouldn't stop talking. He kept crying, kept saying he was scared. I just wanted him to shut up. I just wanted 5 minutes of quiet. You beat him to death, Andrew says. His voice is steady, but everyone hears the pain underneath. My brother called for help and you killed him. Then you erased him. Then you made it look like it never happened. Mitchell's face is in his hands now, crying. I'm sorry. You're sorry because you got caught, Turner says. If Andrew Harris hadn't walked through that door today, you'd still be doing this. You'd still be attacking black men who ask for help. You'd still be covering it up. You'd still be getting away with it. She turns to Walsh. And you'd still be collecting your payments. Walsh says nothing. His expensive watch suddenly looks like evidence. His custom boots, his pressed uniform, all of it bought with drug money, with blood money. Bennett stands. Deputy Chief Raymond Walsh, You're under arrest for conspiracy to violate civil rights, evidence tampering, accessory to manslaughter, and accepting bribes. Officer Craig Mitchell, you're under arrest for assault under color of authority, false imprisonment, evidence tampering, and civil rights violations resulting in death. Sergeant Linda Wilson, you're under arrest for conspiracy, evidence tampering, and accessory to felony assault. Federal agents enter the room, 3 of them. They have handcuffs ready. Mitchell doesn't resist when they cuff him. He just keeps crying. I'm sorry. Wilson stays silent. Her face is blank. Shut down. The way it's been for 3 years. Walsh tries one more time. This is politically motivated. The mayor is using us to... The mayor, Andrew says, standing for the first time, is doing his job, which is more than you did. Andrew walks to where Mitchell sits cuffed. He stands in front of him, looking down. You asked me who I am. I'm Andrew Harris. Medal of Honor recipient for actions in Kandahar Province, FBI crisis negotiator for 6 years, specialist in institutional reform, and as of tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., I'm your chief of police. Mitchell looks up. His face is completely white, drained. This was a test, Andrew continues. You failed, but my brother didn't get a test. He just died. Andrew turns to the room. Other officers have gathered outside, watching through the glass, hearing everything. I'm Andrew Harris. Tomorrow morning I take command of this department. Tonight you saw what I won't tolerate. Tomorrow you'll see what I will build. Those of you with integrity, you're my foundation. Those who covered for this, you have 24 hours to come forward voluntarily. After that, we audit everyone. Brooks speaks up from the back. Sir, you have support. Not everyone here is dirty. I know, Officer Brooks. That's why your first assignment as Detective Brooks is to help me find them. Applause starts. Quiet at first, then louder. Clean cops who've been waiting years for someone to care, someone to act, someone to change things. Andrew holds up his hand. The room quiets. I'm not here for applause. I'm here because my brother deserved better. Because 43 families deserve better. Because this city deserves a police department they can trust. He looks at Mitchell one more time. You're going to prison, for a long time. But at least everyone will know Brandon Harris's name. At least everyone will know what happened to him. At least he won't be forgotten. The federal agents lead Mitchell, Wilson, and Walsh out of the room. The hallway parts for them. Every officer in the building watches them walk past in handcuffs. Andrew asks for a moment alone in IR3. The room is empty now. Just him and the table where his brother died, where he was attacked today. The bloodstain on the concrete floor that never quite came clean. He touches the wall, the same wall Brandon leaned against, crying, scared, asking for help. I'm sorry I wasn't here, Andrew says quietly. I'm sorry it took 3 years. But they know now. Everyone knows. You're not forgotten, Brandon. You're not erased. Clara appears in the doorway. Chief Harris, your brother would be proud. He shouldn't have had to die for this. No, but at least his death led to change. That's something. Andrew nods. He takes one more look at the room. Then he walks out. Tomorrow morning, this becomes his station, his responsibility, his chance to make sure no one else dies in IR3. 72 hours later. City Hall, 8 a.m. The ceremony hall is packed. Mayor Anderson stands at the podium. City council members sit in the front row. State representatives, community leaders, media cameras line the back wall. And in the front row, next to an empty chair, Andrew Harris's mother, Margaret Harris. She's wearing her Sunday best, a purple dress, a small hat, a photograph of Brandon pinned to her collar. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Anderson begins, today we mark a turning point for this city. We acknowledge past failures. We commit to institutional reform, and we welcome a new chief of police who understands both the challenges we face and the changes we need. Andrew stands in full dress uniform. His Medal of Honor is visible on his chest. The cut on his forehead has been treated. Stitches, bandaged, but visible. He didn't try to hide it. Chief Andrew Harris comes to us with an extraordinary background. Combat veteran, FBI crisis negotiator, expert in community policing and systemic reform, but more importantly, he comes to us with personal investment in getting this right. The mayor pauses, looks directly at Andrew. 3 days ago, Chief Harris was brutally assaulted by officers of this department, in the station lobby, during shift change, with multiple witnesses, based solely on the color of his skin. The room goes completely silent. This assault was not an isolated incident. It was part of a pattern, a culture, a system that failed to protect vulnerable people, a system that covered up violence, a system that prioritized silence over justice. Margaret Harris wipes her eyes. The photograph of Brandon catches the light. That system ends today. Chief Harris, please come forward. Andrew walks to the podium. He places his hand on the Bible his mother brought, the same Bible Brandon carried. Do you swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the laws of this state? Do you swear to serve all citizens with integrity, fairness, and respect? Do you swear to hold yourself and your officers to the highest standards of conduct? I do. Andrew's voice is clear, strong, and I swear to honor every person who enters my station, especially those who can't fight back, especially those who are scared, especially those who need help and have nowhere else to turn. Then, by the authority vested in me as mayor, I hereby appoint you chief of police. Congratulations, Chief Harris. The room erupts in applause. Margaret Harris is on her feet, crying, holding Brandon's photograph up high. Andrew sees her, sees his brother's face. He nods. The applause continues for a full minute. When it finally quiets, Andrew steps to the microphone. Thank you, Mayor Anderson. Thank you, City Council. Thank you to everyone who supported this transition. He pauses, looks out at the crowd. 3 days ago, I walked into the police station as a test. I wanted to see if the complaints we'd been receiving were accurate. I wanted to see if an unknown black man would be treated with respect or with suspicion. I wanted to see if anything had changed since my brother Brandon died in custody 3 years ago. The cameras focus on him. Every word will be on the evening news. I learned that nothing had changed. The same officers who killed my brother attacked me. The same systems that covered up his death tried to cover up my assault. The same commanders who accepted bribes tried to make me disappear. But I also learned something else. I learned that there are good officers. Officers like Detective Tyler Brooks, who documented everything and risked his career to do what was right. Officers like Dispatcher Clara Williams, who kept evidence for 3 years waiting for someone to care. Officers who've been trying to change the culture from inside and never got support. Andrew looks directly at the cameras now. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here for reform. Starting today, this department implements mandatory body cameras that cannot be turned off. We establish a civilian oversight board with real power. We require mental health crisis training for every officer. We create transparent complaint procedures. We audit every case from the past 5 years. Officers who enable corruption will be prosecuted. Officers who stay silent out of fear will get one chance to come forward. Officers who have been fighting for integrity will be promoted. He pauses again. When he speaks next, his voice is softer. My brother's name was Brandon Harris. He was kind. He was funny. He liked to build things. He was having a panic attack and he called for help. The people who were supposed to protect him killed him instead. Margaret Harris holds the photograph higher. Brandon didn't get a second chance. He didn't get justice. He didn't get to see this day. But because of what happened to him, we can make sure it doesn't happen again. We can make sure every person who calls for help actually receives it. We can make sure being black and scared isn't a death sentence. Andrew looks at his mother. This is for Brandon, and for everyone like him. The applause is different now, quieter, more solemn. People are crying. After the ceremony, Andrew goes directly to the station. He walks through the same lobby where he was attacked 72 hours ago. Officers stop to salute. Some look ashamed, some look hopeful. He goes to his new office, former Deputy Chief Walsh's office. It's been cleaned out. The expensive watch is gone. The custom decorations, all of it. Clara Williams knocks on the open door. She's carrying a box. Chief Harris, these are the cold cases. Families still waiting for answers. Andrew looks at the stack of files. Each one represents someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's child. Let's get to work. Clara smiles. Yes, sir. Andrew opens the first file. The name at the top, Daniel Johnson. Age 24. Died in custody 8 months before Brandon. Same circumstances, same officers. Daniel, Andrew says quietly. Let's start with you. He picks up the phone, dials the number listed for next of kin. Hello, Mrs. Johnson. My name is Andrew Harris. I'm the new chief of police. I'm calling about your son Daniel. I believe there are questions that were never answered. I'd like to answer them. On the wall behind his desk, Andrew has hung 2 photographs. One is Brandon. The other is from Kandahar province. His unit, brothers in arms, different wars, same oath. Protect and serve. He's kept that oath for 20 years. He's not stopping now. Outside his window, the afternoon sun slants across the parking lot. Shift change is starting. Officers coming and going. Business as usual. Except it's not business as usual anymore. Not on Andrew Harris's watch. The camera on the wall of IR3 has been replaced. The red light is on, recording everything, all the time. The plaque Andrew installed that morning reads, Brandon Harris Reflection Room. Remember, every person who enters this building is someone's brother, sister, or child. Treat them accordingly. Every new officer will see that plaque. Every day, every shift, they'll remember. And the culture will change. One shift at a time, one officer at a time, one call for help at a time. That's Andrew's promise to his brother. That's his promise to this city. That's the oath he took. And he'll spend every day of his career making sure it means something.